Hi friends, welcome to physics class. Myself, D. Kishore, lecturer in physics from Government Degree College for Women, Siddipet. Okay, now we are going to discuss bond theory of solids. Okay, so now we are going to start bond theory of solids. This is very important in BSc, MPC and MPCS students in 6th semester. That is in final semester. Okay, so first we have to know what is bond formation. Okay, generally in nature three types of materials will be available, that is solid, gaseous and liquid. Coming to gases, the molecules of gases will be arranged in a random manner and they doesn't depend upon any neighbor atom. That's why gaseous atoms will be construct independent energy levels. Okay, so coming to solids, the atomic arrangement of solids will be a particular manner and the atoms or molecules will be depend upon neighbor atoms. That's why in solids the bonds will be formed. So coming to here, in isolated atoms the energy levels of electrons are discrete. When capital number of electrons interact with each other, the discrete energy levels of electrons in the solid are split up. The last completely filled bond is called the valence band, and I will explain once. So generally we know that every atom consists of a nucleus. In that nucleus, outermost the electrons will be revolve in outer orbits and different orbits. So the electrons here we have to know what is valence electrons and what is conduction electrons. So the electrons which are revolves near to the nucleus. So near to the nucleus, so that electrons are called valency electrons, and the bond which is formed with valence electrons, it is called as valency band. Okay, next coming to conduction electrons, the electrons which are revolve outermost orbits, the electrons which are revolve outer orbits, and the electrons will have a small bonding or a weakly bonding to the nucleus. These electrons are called as conduction electrons. So what is conduction band means? The band which is filled with conduction electrons, it is called as conduction band. Okay, see, the next band with higher energy is the conduction band. The conduction band can be empty or partially filled. So generally conduction band can be empty or partially filled. The energy difference between the bottom of the conduction band and the top of the valence band called the band gap. So generally, so I will show in diagram. See here. So in every material, coming to the solid classification of solids will be are three types mainly. So they are conductor, insulator, and semiconductor. So we are dividing the solids on the basis of mainly two things, that is a conduction band and a valency band. And we have another band also, that is forbidden energy band. So the band which is between the valency band and conduction band is called as forbidden energy gap or forbidden energy band. See, as shown in the diagram, so conductor. So in the conductor, the valence band and the conduction band are, see, there is no energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band. Here the valence band and conduction band will be overlapped with each other. So that's why without giving of any energy, the valence electron, so valence electron where have, so in valence band it has valence electron, in conduction band it has conduction electrons. So without giving of any energy, the valence electrons will be go to the conduction band, then the current will be flow through the conductors. Okay, so next coming to the insulators. Okay, first what is the example for conductor means? So all metals are good conductors. Okay, so all types of metals will be taken as the examples for conductors, good conductors, we know that. Coming to insulators. So what is insulator? The substance which does not allow the electric conductivity. And coming to here, so see here the valence band and conduction band will be will have divided with Eg. Eg means energy gap. Here the distance between valence band and conduction band will be very high. That's why insulators are bad conductors. So energy gap will be more. That's why valence electron doesn't go to the conduction band. So then there will be no conductivity. Okay, so here valence band will be partially filled or fully filled, but conduction band in this insulator there is no conduction electrons. That's why conduction band will be totally empty in insulators only. So coming to semiconductor, see in the diagram, the distance between valence band and conduction band, that is energy gap value will be see very low. So if we are giving some energy to the valency band, that means valence electrons, it will be went to the conduction band. So then it will be a conductor. So insulators means we know the examples of insulators: wood, plastic, glass. So mainly we are taking that examples. Coming to semiconductors, germanium and silicon are the best examples for semiconductors. So this is the classification of solids on the basis of conduction band and valence band. Okay, once again, see here. So conduction band and valence band. What is conduction band? So the bond which is formed with the conduction electrons. Valence band means the bond which is formed with valence electrons. Okay, it is called valence band. So in conductors, the energy gap will be zero. So there is no energy gap between valence band and conduction band. That's why, that means they will be overlapped with each other. So there is no energy gap means, so the current will be flow with valency band to conduction band. So coming to insulators, you know that insulators are bad conductors. So because of the valence band and conduction band will be separated with more distance, more energy gap. So that's why, so there is no conductivity. And semiconductor means, so it is some or less energy gap between valence band and conduction band. We are giving some energy, then the current will be flow through the semiconductors. Okay, so coming to next page, what is semiconductor? So we have to know mainly in this lesson about semiconductors. Okay, so semiconductor is a material that has a resistivity value or conductivity value between that of a conductor and insulator. So it has the mediator values uh, between the conductor and insulator. It is not a conductor and it is not a insulator. So again, so we know the examples of semiconductor, that is germanium and silicon are the best example for semiconductor. And semiconductors again divide into two types. There are two types of semiconductor, that is intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductor. So we have to know what is intrinsic. Intrinsic means pure semiconductors, the semiconductors which have not other molecules or not impurities, that is pure semiconductor, are simply called as intrinsic semiconductor. Next, coming to extrinsic semiconductor. So extrinsic semiconductor means the semiconductor which has impurities in it. Okay, so when the pure semiconductor will be added with some impurities, it will be changed into impure semiconductor, and it is also called as extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, so the process of adding impurities to the pure semiconductor is called as doping. So that word doping means the process of adding impurities to the pure semiconductor is called as doping. So here, so we understood that intrinsic are pure semiconductor, extrinsic are impure semiconductors. Again, extrinsics, that is impure semiconductor, are divided into two types. So that will be depend upon the adding of impurities. Suppose if we are adding trivalent impurities to the pure semiconductor, if we are adding to the trivalent impurities to the pure semiconductor, it will be called as p-type semiconductors. Or if we are adding pentavalent impurities to the pure semiconductor, it will be treated as n-type semiconductors. So we are dividing extrinsic semiconductor into two types on the basis of adding of impurities. See, intrinsic semiconductor are simply called as pure. An intrinsic semiconductor is a pure semiconductor. So the number of excited electrons and the number of holes are equal. So in the intrinsic, that's in pure semiconductor or intrinsic semiconductor, so the number of electrons and holes will be same. Okay, so that is n is equal to p. So n means number of electrons, p means number of holes. Okay, that so suppose if we are adding a battery to the intrinsic semiconductor, the current will be flow through the both electrons and holes. So that is very important. So coming to the extrinsic semiconductor are simply called as impure semiconductor. Impure semiconductor means an extrinsic semiconductor is a semiconductor that has been doped. Okay, so why we are doping to the, so if we are doping to a pure semiconductor, the conductivity values and resistivity values will be very, very high, the very, very increase as compared to the pure conductor. So again, the extrinsic semiconductor are divided into two types, that is p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductors. What is p-type? P-type semiconductor have a larger hole concentration than electron concentration. P means holes. So p-type means, so a p-type semiconductor means a larger hole concentration than electron concentration. So that means if in p-type semiconductor, the majority carriers will be holes and minority carriers will be electrons. And coming to the n-type semiconductor, in n-type semiconductor have a larger electron concentration than hole concentration. That means in n-type semiconductor, the majority carriers are electrons and minority charge carriers are holes. So see here we are shown here. So here CB means conduction band, PB means valence band, and both are shown here. So coming to the PN junction. So what is PN junction? PN junction is a junction formed by combining p-type and n-type semiconductors. Suppose I'm taking a pure semiconductor. That means firstly, suppose I'm taking a pure semiconductor, that is germanium and silicon. So I'm adding some impurities and half portion to the p-type, that is trivalent impurities, and I'm adding again half portion will be in pentavalent impurities. So when the half portion that I'm adding trivalent impurities, that will be treated as p-type, and when which part I'm adding pentavalent impurities, that will be treated as n-type semiconductors. So see here, so in the diagram we are shown that p-type n-type will be formed. So in between, so the junction will be formed. So here the depletion layer will be shown in the figure. See, and next what will be happen? Forward biased PN junction. So see here. So when the P and N, so in P type the majority carriers are hole, in N type the majority carriers are electrons. Here P to N or N to P, so the process that is called a diffusion process will be started both the junctions, from the junctions. That means from P to some holes will be enter into the N type, and in N some electrons will be coming to the P type. So that will be have some potential. After some time it will be have some potential in that junction. Okay, so this junction are simply called as a potential barrier, and this barrier will be stop the whole total holes and electrons will not be diffuse. Okay, so that is, see the depletion layer. Okay, see here, so this is a PN junction. So that is in forward bias PN junction. So we have to know what is forward bias and reverse bias, and I will explain here. So this is reverse bias PN junction. So I will explain here. Suppose in forward bias means, suppose I'm adding a battery to this PN junction. So in such a way that so if P side to the battery positive terminal and N type to the battery negative terminal. So this is called as forward biased PN junction. So in that so we are showing a graph here. See here, all of you. So in forward bias, suppose if you are see in this diagram. So here we are taking values, voltage values on x-axis and current values, that's I, to the y-axis, and if we draw the graph between these two, we will get this curve. Okay, so that is shown in that is means that forward biased PN junction. And coming to the reverse bias, so reverse bias also, see what is reverse bias. Suppose P type, I'm adding P type part to the battery negative terminal and N type part to the battery positive terminal. So that combination is called, see shown in figure, see here. So I will show with a pen. See here, so it was clearly mentioned this N type. So this is P type, so this is N type. So P type to the negative terminal and N type to the positive terminal, and simply called as reverse biased. And also see here, here we are shown here. So this is P and this is N. So P type to the positive terminal to the battery, and N is the negative terminal of the battery. So this combination is called forward bias, and this is called reverse bias. And we will get to one graph, so as shown in the figure. So when we are taking voltage values on x-axis and the current values in y-axis, you will get another graph, that is a reverse bias shown in figure. See forward bias and reverse bias is shown graph in a one diagram. So generally forward biased there is more current, that's why the current will be taken in milliamperes, and in the reverse biased there is less current, that's why we are taking the current in microamperes. And see, and characteristics and symbol. So this is the symbol of diode. So this is anode end side and that is cathode side. See, conducting in one direction and not in the other is the IV, means current volt characteristic of the diode. Forward biasing voltage makes it turn on, reverse biasing voltage makes it turn off. Okay, only forward biased only the current will be there, and in reverse bias there is no current will be flow through the circuit. So coming to the Zener diode, so we have to know what is Zener diode. So generally Zener diode means, so here in reverse bias there is if we are increasing voltage, more voltage, so that's in that time the junction or diode will be collapsed. In there is some there is some situation will be there in reverse biased. So that will be modified or rectified in next diode, that is in Zener diode. So Zener diode means it will be made to operate under reverse bias only, because in reverse bias the instrument will be collapsed, maybe collapse. So that's why we are using Zener diode. So Zener diode means that is a highly doped reverse biased p-n junction diode is simply known as Zener diode. Once again, highly doped reverse biased p-n junction diode is known as Zener diode. Okay, so it will be work in only reverse bias. In forward bias same like p-n junction diode only. So see here we are shown so here we have to understand. So this breakdown voltage. So this breakdown will be happen at Zener diode at the low voltage. At low voltage, the breakdown voltage will be happen. So what will be the use of this means, at low voltage only breakdown voltage happen. That's why the instrument will not be collapsed. So that's why. So once again, and this is the symbol of see the Zener diode. So this is the symbol of p-n diode, and this is the symbol of Zener diode. So just we are writing Z. Okay, that's why this is called Zener diode. So okay, so that's why Zener diode will be used as a voltage regulator. So that means it will be regulate the voltage which we going to the inside the circuit. So అది ఏం చేస్తుంది అంటే లోపలికి వెళ్ళే వోల్టేజ్ని నియంత్రిస్తుంది. సో దట్స్ వై వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ Zener diode యాజ్ ఏ స్టెబిలైజర్ ఆర్ వోల్టేజ్ రెగ్యులేటర్. Okay, so this is the importance of this, and we have to know what is the importance of p-n junction diode only. So p-n junction diode means, so that is called as rectifier. So it will be used as rectifier. So what is rectifier? So rectifier means we have to know what is rectifier also. Rectifier means a instrument or a device which is used to convert AC current into DC current. So what is AC current, sir? AC current means that is alternate current which will have in cables, and DC current means which have in batteries. So that is direct current. So here the instrument or device which is used to convert AC to DC is called as p-n junction diode. And coming to the varactor diodes, variable see in the diagram, variable reactance diode. It is also called as variable reactance diode. So voltage controlled capacitance of a p-n junction can be used in a tuning stage of a radio or TV receiver. Okay, so it will be used as a tuner in a radio or receiver. So here we are showing, so this is another type of diode, and the symbol of the diode will be shown, and the graph also shown in the diagram. So again, optoelectronic diodes, many of these diodes involve direct band gap semiconductors. devices to convert optical energy to electric energy. So it's called as optoelectronic diodes. Okay, so these devices will be convert optical energy into electrical energy. So that means some of photodetectors generate electrical signals, solar cells generate electrical power. Okay, devices which are convert electrical energy to optical energy called light emitting diodes or laser diodes. Okay, so just we will see just not briefly. So what is a photodiode, what is a light emitting diode, that's LED. So movement of carriers across their reflection region emits photons of light energy. For visible light output, the band gap should be between 1.8 electron volt and 3.1 electron volt. See here in the symbol of the LED are shown here, and so this is the symbol of LED, that is the LED emitting diodes, and this is the instrument of LED. Okay, so coming to the photodiodes. Photodiodes are sensitive to light in photoconductive mode. The saturation current increases in proportion to the intensity of the received light. Okay, so these are called photodiodes. An important characteristics of any photodetector measures how the photocurrent varies with the wavelength of incident light. So here we have to know what is photodetector. So when some light incident on the cathode of the substance or on a metal plate, so then the electrons will be emit. So this, the substance is called photodetector, and the current is called as photocurrent. Okay, so that will be varies with the incident wavelength of incident wavelength. Okay, so that was shown in diagram also. So again we have photovoltaic cells also. So this is another type of cells in a photovoltaic mode. When the PN junction is exposed to a certain wavelength of light, the diode generates voltage and can be used as an energy source. This type of diode is used in the production of solar power. Okay, so this photovoltaic cells will be used in the production of solar power. So we know that solar energy will be incident on this solar cells, so that will be convert into solar energy. Okay, so that was shown in diagram also. Solar cells are large area PN junction diodes designed specially to avoid energy losses. See, VOC, the open circuit voltage. So that was shown in diagram also. Okay, so this is solar cells and photovoltaic cells, photodiodes and LEDs. These are the some of applications of PN diodes. We can treat as some of applications of PN diodes. Okay, so this is about today's PN junction bond theory of solids. So first in this we have to know some of the basic things. So I will explain that. So what is simply what is so I will explain here once again. So generally what is in our bond diagram. Bond diagram means first we have to know what is conduction electrons and what is valence electrons. Valence electrons means the electrons which are revolve near to the nucleus. That electrons are called valence electrons, and the bond which is formed with valence electrons, it is called valence bond. And next we have to know what is conduction electrons. So the electrons which are revolve outermost cells in the nucleus. So that electrons are called conduction electrons. The band which is formed with the conduction electrons are known as conduction band. So by depending of these two bands, that is valence band and conduction band, the solids are mainly three types. That is conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Okay, coming to the semiconductors, we have to know what is semiconductor. So semiconductor means the is a material that has a resistivity values and conductivity values between that of conductor and insulators. It is not a conductor, it is not an insulator. So it has between that values. So again we are dividing semiconductors are two types, that is intrinsic and extrinsic. So intrinsic, so that was depend upon the adding of impurities, and extrinsic means impure. Impure means when we are adding to the some impurities to the pure semiconductors, it will be treated as impure or extrinsic semiconductor. And these extrinsic semiconductors are divided two types, p type and n type. So when we are adding trivalent impurities to the trivalent means aluminum, boron, like impurities adding to this pure semiconductor, that is germanium or silicon, it will be treated as p-type semiconductors. And when we are adding pentavalent impurities like arsenic, antimony to the pure semiconductor like germanium, silicon, so it will be treated as, or it will change as n-type semiconductors. Okay, so in intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductors, we know that. In p-type semiconductor, we know that the majority carriers will be holes, and n-type semiconductor, the majority carriers will be electrons. So this is p-n junction. So when we are adding to the p-type and n-type material, and it will be in the middle portion will be called as junction. And again we have two things, that is forward biased p-n junction and reverse biased p-n junction. Suppose in the P side we are adding to the battery to the positive terminal of the battery, and N side to the negative terminal of the battery, it is called forward bias. And when we are taking we are drawing a graph between voltage and current, we will get the graph which are shown in diagram, and simply reverse bias also. And so at reverse bias the current will be very low, and there is no current. That's why we are in microamperes only we are taking the current. So at the high voltage, the in reverse bias, so the in high voltage the junction will be collapsed. That's why the instrument will be collapsed. That's why we are using a modified p-n junction diode. It is simply called as Zener diodes. Okay, so Zener diode means reverse biased and highly doped p-n junction diode is called as Zener diode. So that was shown in diagram. And there are some of applications of p-n diode, that is light emitting diodes, photodiodes, the photovoltaic cells, and solar cells. Okay, so mainly these are the applications, and this is our today's topic. Okay, so this is our topic, and thank you everyone. So Department of Physics, Government Degree College for Women, Siddipet. Okay.